They've won 10 in a row, goals a game. They're scoring 4 a game right now, allowing 2.5 a game. And Patrick Roy, the save percentage around 93%. So the Montreal Canadiens looking to take a commanding 3-0 lead over the New York Islanders. Steve Thomas, he's one of the guys who's been able to beat Patrick Roy, but they haven't been able to win a game. We'll find out if they can tonight when we return.
In this series, 2 friends get to play against one another. Ray Ferraro and Kirk Muller. They have played together on the same team in World Championship games. They like each other. Ray Ferraro.
Well, in addition to Kirk's great hockey skills, which he does have, the one thing I learned with playing with him is he's a great guy. He's hilarious, the worst joke teller around. But his dedication on and off the ice and his ability to work hard constantly overrides all the talent that he does have. It makes him very effective and very difficult to play against.
He talks, you know, no doubt, you know, not only in the dressing room, but you're going to catch him talking out on the ice as well, and, you know, to opponents and that. But I think it's, to be honest with you, I think he's a guy that you just got to, you know, not really talk out there and don't let him distract you. Although he's offensive guy, he likes to get under the skin of his opponents and that, so you have to kind of block him out once you're out there on the ice.
And both these players are having a great playoff series. Kirk Muller, 7 goals, 4 assists, second leading scorer during the playoffs, and Ray Ferraro is leading all goal scorers in the playoffs, still up there with 13 and 19 points overall. Game 3 here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement. It'll be Pierre Turgeon on the ice again for the Islanders.
I think you could expect Pierre Turgeon even to get more ice time, if that's possible, than he did in Game 2, because he played a ton up in Montreal.
And said he felt absolutely fine. He'll take the face-off to start this game out. Underway, and it'll be won by the Canadiens back in their own end. Kirk Muller was out to take the draw and won it, and we are underway. It is not a must-win, but as close as you can get to one for the New York Islanders. Lyle Odeline clears it out. Rich Pilon back to get it. Run through a couple of changes that have been made in the lineups. This is going to be touched up at the far end for an icing call. Patrick Roy for the Montreal Canadiens. He has started them all. He's got the best goals against in the playoffs, second best in save percentage, 61 career wins now in playoff action, a career .249 goals against in the playoffs. Glenn Healy at the other end, 5th best as far as goals against is concerned in the playoffs this season. He is 10 and 12 in his career in playoff action with a lifetime .364 goals against. This year, 3.34.
One difference in this hockey game from games 1 and 2, the New York Islanders will have last change. So Al Arbour pulled Pierre Turgeon off the ice after 5 seconds of the first face-off, and now I think he's going to go with the Ferraro line, not only for offense, but kind of for defense against Fellows and Kirk Muller. Both of these coaches have been very tight-lipped about the line combinations they're going to use and how they're going to use them.
Dennis Savard is not dressed tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. They don't want to say why. Ray Ferraro has the puck. Ferraro clears it in. He has Mullen on the line with him with Flatley. Mullen behind the net. Ferraro to Flatley. Flatley the backhand center. Intercepted Desjardins, who was there. There will be a couple of other changes in the lineup tonight as well. Stéphane Lebeau, who had the 2 goals in the last game, is not playing for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Gary Leemans is playing in his 5th playoff game this season for Montreal. Ferraro getting the sticks up along the boards, and that will draw the whistle on the delayed offside pass.
Now, what a job Jacques Demers has done in Montreal. You know that the French newspapers all did polls on who would win the Quebec-Montreal series, and 80% of the people before the series even started said that Quebec was going to win. 98% of them after the first 2 games, when Montreal went down 2-0, said that Quebec was going to win. No sweat, right, Jacques? Well, a little bit of sweat. And Al Arbour, as usual, has kept even his own team guessing about the line combination. Steve Thomas, who usually plays with Turgeon, did during the season. Didn't even know this morning if he was going to be lined up with them in this hockey game tonight.
He's not right now. Delgarno and Volek are out with the Turgeon. Uwe Krupp with a puck, trying to clear it out of the zone. Turgeon drops it a little deeper. Tommy Curver's up for Delgarno, swept to center, brought up by Turgeon. Turgeon wristed, saved by Roy. Turgeon taken to the corner by Lyle Odeline in a hurry, and clearly the Canadiens are going to have more than just an eye on Pierre Turgeon.
Yeah, Lyle Odeline gave him a little shot right on his right arm, which is the bad side for Pierre Turgeon. But Uwe Krupp is going to look for Turgeon every time he's on the ice, and Turgeon has a sneaky, fast wrist shot. His delivery's very good. This one he drilled right at Patrick Roy. But Pierre Turgeon actually went out in game 2 and intentionally tested his shoulder. He said that he went out and actually got engaged in some pushing and shoving. And yesterday in practice with Benoit Hogue, because he's such a tight pal of Benoit Hogue's, Turgeon and Hogue got into a shoving match intentionally. Turgeon wanted to test it even further, so he did that with Hogue in practice yesterday.
And there is 18 in white against the boards. That is Marty McGuinness. He has not played in 25 games. His first playoff appearance, a knee problem, kept him out at the end of the season. He's back. Shot deflected and gloved down behind the net by Rich Pilon, and the shot by Domfus. And the Islanders get it out of the zone. Game 3 with Montreal leading 2 games to 0. J.J. Daniel to center. Back to get it. Pilon. He's teamed up with Kasparaitis, the defensive pair. Kasparaitis lost it in front. Keane. Saved by Healy. A big turnover, and that one hit the side of the net and came in front. Pilon clears. Well, the hockey gods were shining in Montreal and the Canadiens. Right now, they are here at home for the New York Islanders on that last play. Domfus brings it up. Keane again. Domfus in. Shot. Healy makes the shoulder save as he got the stick glove up on that one. And Vaski will send it in. A couple of good scoring chances at each end early on here. Shots 2-1. Islanders with the advantage. Kurt Muller cuts through center. Bellows with him. Muller looking for a little help. Gets by Vaski. Fitzgerald checked it away to center.
Paul DiPietro has been moved up to Stéphane Lebeau's place in between Vincent Domfus and Mike Keane. They've generated 2 good scoring chances their first shift. So Jacques Demers goes with set lines a lot. But his guys seem to be able to interchange, one line to the other. A lot of coaches mix it up all year long. Demers hasn't done that. Tonight he's had to because of 2 injuries.
And if you're hot, you're also going to get that ice time. Both these coaches look for that in any given game. Turgeon has it at center for the Islanders. Near side for King. Derek King with the stitches taken over the eye. Back in action for them. Tom Gervas will let that one go as Coop goes back to get it. And this will be an icing call with 16:52 to go in the first. Islanders and Canadiens, no score. No wonder we were waiting to see if he was going to get up out there. Islanders clear it in the zone. Mullen was giving chase, intercepted. Brought back up ice, Desjardins, who got it to center. On the near side, banking up toward Gary Lehman. So Lehman getting his first action in this series. Dumped on goal by Dion, who was bumping in the corner, and Glenn Healy will cover up on that one. Healy knows how important it is for him to have a big remainder of this series, however long it's going to go. The Canadiens do not give up many. They right now are second in goals against in the playoffs, so he's not got a lot of room.
No, and it's not surprising that Glenn Healy wasn't tired in the second overtime period in Montreal. He told me this morning that when they did the max VO2 test, you get on a treadmill at training camp and they push you to exhaustion to check your stamina and see how long you can last. Ray Ferraro tested out #1, Pat Flatley was #2, and Glenn Healy was #3, all the older guys.
That's called staying in shape and working at it, isn't it? There's Ray Ferraro right there, leading them in playoff scoring, 13 goals and 6 assists. We said Ferraro still first in goals and 3rd overall in scoring in the playoffs this season. Flatley dumped it out through center ice. Ferraro was there trying to tip it in. Desjardins comes back to get it. Desjardins will circle in his own end. Had Turgeon right on him. Flatley trying to get it back to him. Flatley still has it. Dropped past Desjardins was there. This line causing some problems early on when they get Turgeon out there. Shot wide of Healy, near side point. Deflected. Oh, what a chance they had in the open net on the wide side. Not quite.
Oh, Darius Kasparaitis is without a stick, and he was motioning to Flatley to just dump it out, and Flatley didn't pick up the motion. He got the puck passed to him.
John LeClaire was right there at the side of the net waiting for the tip, but couldn't get all of it. Lyle Oderline in behind the net. Oderline plays it off the boards. LeClaire trying to get it out to Guy Carbonneau, could not. Carbonneau waiting on the near side, brought up by Matthew Schneider. Schneider gains the red line and will dump it in. Far side, LeClaire hit Malakoff. Malakoff, Ronan and Vaski collide. Malakoff's got the puck. And the Islanders back. Turgeon has it. They're also changing behind the play. Turgeon sends it in. King coming back to get it. King pinned up against the boards. Wanted to get it up to the point. Get some help on the near side, but no movement of the puck, and that'll draw the whistle. Good defensive play, as we've seen in the first 2 games between these 2 teams.
Boy, did Pierre Turgeon get stood up at the blue line. Matt Schneider came and leveled him after he dumped it in. But Pierre Turgeon's not going to take all of the punishment lying down. He came out of the Montreal zone about 30 seconds ago and really chopped Lyle Oderline in the back of the legs. And Oderline's a pretty tough customer. Here's his dump in. And as he was getting dumped in, look at the top of the screen. Matt Schneider spotted that Pierre Turgeon was looking at the dump, and did he ever knock him? Oh, man.
A couple of guys who've both been injured.
Yeah, a couple of bad shoulders coming together. Matt Schneider actually had to leave game 2 with a kind of a mild concussion in the third period, but was able to come back and play.
During the regular season, Canadiens took 3 out of the 4 games these two teams played against one another. That was then, though. Ray Ferraro back out with Delgarno and Volek on this line. Face-off. Canadiens coming away with a win on that one. Jesse Belanger, another one who's been inserted in the lineup for tonight's game. It's his 8th playoff game this season. Ray Ferraro sends it into the zone. But Demers not hesitant to make changes when he feels it'll help the club. He'll do it here during the playoffs. He's run a lot of people in and out of the lineup thus far. Lehman dumped it ahead. Dion shot, blocked, rolls in. Dion was cutting for it, couldn't get there. Ferraro had it knocked away. Near side, players going down. Looks like they're having a little trouble with the ice here early on in this game. We've seen a number of players like they're losing the edge as they try and cut, go sprawling down on the ice. J.J. Daniels pass intercepted again. Tommy Kerber's got it back to Ferraro and Volek. Volek near side to Thomas to Ferraro. Ferraro kicked it in. He didn't see that one coming.
What a hit. Mike Keane is one of the smallest Canadians at 175 pounds, but he hits like a 190-pounder.
Then Kasparaitis came back and got him. Volek looking. Volek for Kasparaitis. Keane takes him down. So Keane's responded. Kasparaitis came over against the boards and decked him. Keane found Kasparaitis and put it right back as he got the shoulder in on him. Just cleared out of the zone, so the hitting solid here early on. Pilon going back to get it. Pilon's got to play it from around his own net. There's Marty McGinnis, his second shift. Couldn't handle that one. Desjardins knocked away Benoit Hogue. McGinnis brings it in onside. Dropped to Thomas. Saved by Waugh. Rebound. Kasparaitis shot. Wide on Patrick Waugh. Chances for the Islanders. They still have it behind the net. Tried to dump it back in front to McGinnis. Kasparaitis stepped up, held it in. Benoit Hogue. Hogue looking. They're setting up. Thomas cutting in front. Pass to him. Blocked. Marty McGinnis. Back for Hogue. Hogue. Pilon cutting. That was Thomas in front who couldn't get a stick on it. Pilon retracts. Dumped it into the corner. Taking the heat off. Desjardins just clears it over the boards and out of the zone.
So the Montreal Canadiens have had to hold first here because the Islanders, with a couple of great scoring chances, really good pressure, they had to change on the fly because Ray Ferraro was shaken up when he got hit. But they kept the pressure on. Good shot by Thomas, and most of the Islanders' shots have either hit raw right on or been shot wide, like Kasparaitis' shot just went high and wide. Mike Keane was a one-man wrecking crew. He franked 2 New York Islanders. The first one was Ray Ferraro. You know, Keane didn't lift his elbow up. Ferraro was really bending over, and he's not very big anyway. He's listed at 5'10". I think that's a generous 5'10".
He was kicking the puck in his skates to get it on his stick. Wow, level line hit by Fitzgerald. Got it around the boards, but not out of the zone. Held in. Malakoff winds up. Wanted it. Got tied up. Malakoff having trouble with it. Held in by Mullen. Mullen would ship it around the net. Turgeon. Fitzgerald, and Mullen. Centering pass, blocked. Lyle Oderline tried to sweep it out. It blocked again by Turgeon. Then Kirk Muller able to clear the zone. Good pressure being put on here by the Islanders. Bellows brings it up. Muller taking out of the play. Fitzgerald. Muller picks the puck up. Fitzgerald still on him. Muller one-arming it around the net. Fitzgerald fell down. Muller looking, takes the shot. Blocked straight up in the air. Gloved away by Vasky and out of the zone. Matthew Snyder comes back to get it. Montreal clearing the zone, sent back in. Vasky will take it in his own corner. And near side to Mullen. Mullen can't handle it. Just trickled in along the line, and he got decked, lost his helmet. What a shot he took on the near side as Ronan got him and gets him again. Fans want to call. Terry Fraser says no. Fans up and hauling. Coop brings it in. Uwe Coop, the defenseman, centers off. Waugh. Rebounded, goes behind the net off Delgarno. Uwe Coop still down there. Coop backs it up to the near side. Kirk Muller will come back to get it. Shots are even at 2-2, but a lot more action as the hitting has been real solid. Daigneault and Volek collided at the other end. Muller trying to get off the ice. Volek runs him into the boards. Muller getting up slowly. He's had a real long shift.
I think it's more fatigue. You hit it on the head. He's so tired. But man, what a dynamic shift for Kirk Muller. Everybody tried to knock him over, and they couldn't do it until he was out of gas.
When life turns up the heat.
They start the wedding without me?
This shouldn't take long, honey.
Nothing protects you like Degree antiperspirant. It's body heat activated to release extra protection. Degree, your body heat turns it on. When it's this greasy, you need a more
powerful cleaner degreaser. Castrol Super Clean solubilizes grease on contact, neutralizing its ability to stick. So if it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
My daughter, she's going to college. She needs a car. So we talked. She wanted this, she wanted that, she wanted ABS brakes. She's a very bright girl. So she looked, and she found a new Subaru Impreza. Well, I can't talk to her about a car, because I'm usually the cynic. But this Impreza left me speechless. So now I say things like, aren't you glad I told you about the new Impreza? And she says, Dad, you're employing revisionist history. Like I said, she's a very bright girl.
Well, after a long, hard shift, Kurt Muller finally ran out of gas. David Pollock was able to slam him into the boards. Earlier in the shift, Loisel tried to get him off his feet. Another look at the Pollock hit.
Big hits early on here. And Montreal will slow it down as they play it in behind their net. Bashed out to the near side, Dion. Dion gets run by Benoit Hogue, and that held the puck in for Marty McGuinness, who's playing strong. McGuinness moves in, puts the shot on near side, Dion. Gilbert Dion around the boards. Leclerc, Dion, and Guy Carbonneau. That was Malakoff putting the shot on the far side. Furious pace. McGuinness sends it down the boards, as you would expect. Montreal leading 2-0 coming back here to the island. Benoit Hogue. Hogue shot. Save wide. And he left the rebound out in front. Hogue couldn't get there in time. Good defensive help. Wild Oberline down low. DiPietro from the red line. Tried to bang it in. Baskey was there to block it. Clears through. Wow. Let his defenseman play it in front. Desjardins got it. Both teams changing it up. Domfus dropped it for Keane. Shot DiPietro. Good shot. A better save made by Glenn Healy. Healy alive on that one as DiPietro snuck in behind the defenseman that time and had a screen. Wow, leaves it off for Kevin Haller. Haller off the boards. Moving in. Holding it in. Delgado. Haller gets it back. Haller around and out of the zone.
You have to ask yourself, who is favored by this kind of pace? There's a lot of hitting, but there's a lot of open ice out there. Keep in mind, the Montreal Canadiens are without LeBeau and Denis Savard. That hurts them. Both of these teams would like to clamp it down a little bit. If the pace stays like this, you know one thing. The most talented player on the ice is Pierre Turgeon. Sooner or later, at that pace, if the puck is on his stick often enough, the Islanders will produce.
And Al Arbour's throwing him in all over the place here. As we saw in the last game, he's skating with everybody who's on the bench.
Yeah, and it's going to make it more difficult for Jacques Demers to get Guy Carbonneau out there against him. Al Arbour has last change. If he has to, he can start playing line matching games, but so far he hasn't bothered with that. The second half of Game 2, Jacques Demers had Guy Carbonneau out on the ice with his line just about exclusively against the Pierre Turgeon line. Did a pretty good job, but Turgeon was dangerous every time he touched the puck. Benoit Hogue, toe save by Patrick Law. Benoit Hogue said after Game 2, I would have traded all 33 goals in the regular season to score that chance I had in overtime on Patrick Law. You know what all the Islanders are saying, Gary, is when you get a chance to look up at Patrick Law when you're in the slot, there's so much to look at up high. And that's where Benoit Hogue missed in overtime.
Just missed the whole darn thing, and he had the whole thing to shoot at. Said he was still seeing that today. Benoit Hogue, that's a tough one. What he wants to do is come back and get about 4 goals in tonight's game.
It's tough when you've spent most of your life dreaming of scoring an overtime goal in Montreal for him.
Croup the shot. Save again made by Waugh. Canadiens going after the single-season record here tonight if they can come away with their 11th consecutive win. Chicago and Pittsburgh both did it last year. The all-time record is 12 games held by the Oilers over 2 seasons.
Real good face-off here by Benoit Hogue. He beat one of the best in the defensive zone in Kurt Muller.
4 shots taken by the Islanders and 3 by the Canadiens. Not a lot of shots for all the action we've seen in this game. You see Ray Ferraro, he's got a banged-up nose on that shot he took when he got Deck coming over the line. But he's got it patched up already. Canadiens on the face-off in their own end. They'll clear it out on the flip by Brisebois. New York Islanders have had the territorial advantage here through the first half of this first period with 10-11 left to go and no score. Brought in King, tried to hit Flatley with it, came right back to him off Brunet's stick. Behind the net, Flatley centering for Turgeon. That's deflected out in front. Brunet trying to get it out. Uwe Krupp blocked it. Krupp is joining the offensive flow. He's been in now, I think, on all his shifts. He's been down low like a forward here.
Yeah, it's tough for Uwe Krupp, though, Gary. He doesn't have a lot of quickness. He's much better if he just sneaks in behind somebody and, you know, directs a shot on goal. Once he gets involved in the forecheck, you really notice his size is a disadvantage because he gives away so much quickness.
Tommy Kerber's able to get it out. Turgeon's got it with King, the 2-on-2. Turgeon in, shot, hit the side of the net, no angle. Turgeon front of center, he got taken out of the play on the near side. And the elbows get up again. He was battling with Matthew Schneider that time. Benoit Brunet. Brunet, the trailer is Bellows. Bellows looking to the middle. Schneider trying to play as well. Bellows with Brunet in front. Bellows wants a wraparound, not going to get there. He got taken out of the play by Malakoff. Malakoff then got dumped. Brunet in front. Shot blocked to the corner. That one hit Patrick Flatley and hard. Turgeon clears it out. Flatley immediately heads to the bench. He's got to skate that one off a little bit. Took down on the top of the skate. He was no more than 3 feet away on the shot. Malakoff near side for Vaski. No score. 8:56 left here in the first. Marty McGinnis in action. Had that one intercepted in center. Dion. Dion brings it in. Dropped it. Tried to set the pick. Puck still free. Just sitting. Poked out of the zone by Vaski. And Vaski gave Jerry Lehman a pretty good shot on the back of the Cavs. Benoit Hogue has it. Hogue trying to clear. Nice pass to McGinnis. Marty McGinnis in the middle. McGinnis 2-on-2 with Thomas. Save made by Wog into the corner. Thomas over to get it. Centering. Hogue. Hogue turns. Shot. Saved by Wog. Shot stride. Just hanging on to the post. Desjardins behind his own net. Chances there, though. 6-3 the shots for the Islanders now. Lehman tips it ahead. This will be an icing call, and Kasparaitis gets there first. And he does. Great to have you with us. Our continuing coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs at ESPN. Isles of Montreal, no score.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first of...
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. Thinking about refinancing your home? Even if you've been late on some payments in the past, you can still refinance your first mortgage and get today's low rates at the Money Store. Because the Money Store looks at your total credit picture. They won't automatically disqualify you for some late payments. And you can apply by phone with no application fee. So even if you've been late on some payments, you can still refinance your first mortgage. Call the Money Store at 1-800-879-9768.
Hi, I'm Charlie Paul, owner of a nationally known ice cream shop. If your hair is thinning like mine was, do what I did. Call Hair Club for Men.
The first thing my wife said when she saw it, that I looked 10 years younger. That was the first words out of her mouth. Not hello, not hi.
I feel good about myself when I get up in the morning. It's easy to maintain and manage.
So call now for your free video on Hair Club's developments in dealing with thinning hair. To help our clients, see how this free video can help you too.
Father of 7 refereeing our game tonight. They range in age from 2 to 19. He says we got a busy household. That's Kerry Fraser out of Ontario. 5 Cup finals he's been in since 1972 in the league. Working with him tonight, he's got Kevin Collins and Ron Finn, our officials. Here's Mike Keane with it. Keane comes to the red line, dumps it in wide side corner. I told him he ought to be a great referee. You got 7 kids between 2 and 19. You referee all year long.
There's 7 years between the 2-year-old and the next youngest one. So the family looked like it was complete at 6, but Kathy and Kerry Fraser had a 7.
And an icing call as Kasparaitis goes back to get it. Our Budweiser Stanley Cup summary and what great games are going on. 22 overtime games thus far this season. Surprisingly, in all of that, not one penalty shot. Last time was 1987 that happened. Anderchuk leading the National Hockey League in shots in the playoffs. And Patrick Roy with 10 wins and a 2-2-1 on top in both those categories.
It's about time we laid that graphic in, no penalty shots, because you know either Patrick Roy or Glenn Healy will have to face one tonight.
Tonight, that does it, doesn't it? Yep. That's the kiss of death right there. He has been in goal, of course, for the 10 consecutive wins that they have. Trying to equal the goaltender's mark as well. Face-off will be to the left. There you see the face-offs thus far.
Kirk Muller has won 5 of 6. You know that replay that we showed with him losing one to Benoit Hogue? That's his only loss.
Wouldn't you know we'd get that one, right? DiPietro on the face-off wins that one behind the net for the Canadiens. 7:43 left to go here in the first period. Daniel had lost it in the zone. Got some help behind, though, by Brisebois to get it out. Battle along the boards. Delgado and Mike Keane down the go as Bollock moved in. Bollock took him down. Delgado couldn't control it. Good work along the boards by DiPietro and Keane. Keane gets it away from Curvers. The Islanders will go back in their own end. Near side for Tommy Curvers. Curvers may catch him changing. Near side to Bollock. Canadians just coming out and blocked. Matthew Schneider got across ice in time, but they had nobody on this side of the ice when the Islanders were bringing it up.
Matt Schneider's got family here tonight, and it's always special when you've got dad and hockey-playing brother and fiance. Boy, he's got a pretty good representation. Matt Schneider built a home in Vermont, so he's able to live in Montreal during the season and doesn't have to go that far in the off-season. Terrific young player. You know, our crew out west, I say out west in Toronto last night, John Davidson and Tom Mees were talking about lookalikes. Barry Melrose and Pat Burns. Pat Burns as Wayne Newton and Barry Melrose as the country singer. What the heck's his name?
I haven't got a clue.
Billy D. Cyrus. Well, I've got one. I think that Ray Ferraro is a spitting image of golfer Corey Pavin.
I think you're right.
Put that up for bid. Put that one up for bid.
Before the game, and I think it fits.
Well, it's the mustache and the nice big white teeth. Except Ray Ferraro now has a little problem with his nose and his chin. That hit from Mike Keane either pushed the white part of his helmet down onto his nose or pushed the bottom of his visor up onto the bridge of his nose, because he got a pretty good whack there, and there's some redness on his chin too, so it was a full face crunch.
And it shows. He had to go in and get that fixed, but he didn't miss a shift. Came right back. Daniel fanned on it. And Ray Ferraro moving in. Dropped to King. King back shot. Saved by Juan Flatley. DiCarmino in the corner. Great chance right there on the turnover by the Canadiens. You don't get many of those against Montreal generally. Ronan's got it. Ronan trying to back it in. Baskey put the hit on. Islanders back at center. Flatley had to go back to get it. Sends it in. Waugh. He'll hold it up behind the net. Brisebois comes back. Has King circling behind on him. Near side to DiCarmino. DiCarmino's moving up in the ranks of games played in the playoffs. Makes the move and lost the puck. Good play by Pilon. Pilon looking to send it up ice. Had King cut it. Waugh's got to play it. Waugh bangs it around King, but Thomas has it. Thomas centering pass intended for Ray Ferraro, but too close to the net. Ferraro comes over to get it. King looking in front for Thomas. King wants to bring it himself. Knocked down. Batted up in the air by Waugh. Rebound shot. Wide by King. And there goes the net. And that'll draw the whistle. As the net pushed off as Brisebois got tied up in front with Ray Ferraro.
By some excellent determination by Derek King. He got knocked flat on his back and was still able to make a play out front. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve Thomas got good wood on a shot that was about 3 feet into the air. A puck that was bouncing. There it is. Well, maybe he didn't.
King got another rip at it, though, from the side of the net. But not quite. There's a better look at those stitches. Knocked out, came back here in this game and skating his regular shifts. 3 goals, 10 assists. He leads the Islanders in assists here in the playoffs. Total of 13 points. No score. 6:09 to go in the first period. It has been a feisty first period.
Terrific playoff hockey. Sticks have been reasonably low. Hitting has been good. That keen hit on Ray Ferraro was a clean hit.
Ferraro was looking down at the wrong moment, trying to find that puck in his skates as he came across the line. Desjardins clears it out to center. Brian Bellows dumps it in the zone. Bellows, Brunet, and Kirk Muller on this line now. Thomas over to the Islanders. Coop trying to dig it out. Did. Islanders trying to get somebody up ice in a hurry here. Trying to break. Shot deflected. Benoit Hope's shot was way back into the upper seats. Thomas Sandstrom's a mighty important part of the Los Angeles Kings. And when he's healthy and playing over the last few seasons, he, Gretzky, and Granato has been a great line. Sandstrom came on last night, helped to even that series. Toronto Maple Leafs and the Kings, they go to L.A. tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, right here on ESPN, series tied at 1. Around the hotel today, carrying his clothes over his shoulder. Said we got a long series left, so I sent the stuff out to be clean. And big smile on his face when he said it, and meant it. Uwe Krupp's got it back in his own end. 5:40 to go here in the first, no score. Cleared up by Curvers into the zone. Mullen giving chase. McGinnis there. McGinnis knocked it away. Holler. Holt moves over. Holt looking. Tried to center Thomas, but it was blocked to Dion by Muller. Muller starts up ice with the puck. Muller moving in on Uwe Krupp. Krupp ties him up, takes him down, and there's the penalty. Muller's effort. Krupp had to haul him down. He'll go for holding. And a power play for the Canadiens.
Quite strong play by Kirk Muller. Early in this game, 197-pound Tom Fitzgerald tried to get Kirk Muller off balance and couldn't. And it took all of 235-pound Uwe Krupp to kind of hog-tie Kirk Muller, and Kirk made it look pretty good by letting his feet go out from under him. But still, that's a must-call by Gary Fraser, and he called it right. Kirk Muller already looks like he's got a welt on the side of his face. No big deal and nothing new for Kirk Muller. I got talking to him today about using his feet, Gary, and how good he is on the face-offs, and sure enough, Kirk Muller as a 7-year-old. Stopped playing baseball to play soccer. He said in Canada when he was a 7-year-old, that's about when soccer really took off. And with Peter Zezel and Ronnie Francis, there are no 3 players in the NHL better at using their feet on the faceoffs. And Kirk Muller said, anyway, look, my game is not only faceoffs, but along the boards. I need my feet, and he is good.
Sensational. There you see the Montreal power play on the season, and a little better overall here in the playoffs. The Canadiens, one shot in the last 12 minutes and 30 seconds. They're being outshot 8-3, but they're going to get the first power play of this game. They are 1 for 14 against the New York Islanders in this series. Power play Canadiens. Brisebois has it. He sends it in. They've got Danfus out there. Muller stays out on the power play. Worked at the point. Brisebois able to hold it in. Danfus. Danfus, Muller. Bellows goes to the front of the net. Pass blocked. Cleared up. Brisebois trying to hold it in on Benoit. Hogue did. Danfus, a little room. Danfus to Schneider. Schneider challenged by Fitzgerald. Had to go deep in a hurry as the Islanders come out of the box and play the puck. Danfus collides. Kasparaitis. Montreal able to control. Brisebois. A long pass that one. He has a lot of room. Danfus behind the net over to Bellows. Bellows drops it. Muller open. Takes the shot. Missed it as he went for the wide side. Chance for Kirk Muller. A minute left on the power play. Danfus centered. Tipped by Danfus. He was right there in front of Healy. Muller able to hold it in. Canadiens controlling the puck here in the zone. Bellows behind the net. Danfus. Muller looking. Muller. Danfus go to the front. Back to Schneider. Schneider taking it. They leave Muller high slot. There he is. Tried to wind up. Couldn't get it. Centering pass to Bellows. Bellows plays it back to Danfus to Schneider. Matthew Schneider. 33 on the power play. Wraparound shot deflected. Tried to jam it in from the side. Bellows, Muller, both right on the doorstep. Healy, the blocker, came right straight down on him and cleared up by Hogue.
The Islanders have to watch for Brian Bellows standing at the side of the net. If the Canadiens can get it to him when that low defenseman for the Islanders moves up to the faceoff dot to defend, we saw Bellows step out and do one of those wide wraparounds in Game 2. That's exactly what he tried here.
Dion now comes out. Dion, DiPietro, and Keane on the power play. DiPietro sending it back behind the net. And the power play is over. 0 for 1 Montreal on the power play as the Islanders have killed it off. Desjardins back at center. Islanders changing it up. Tried to send it in. It was blocked. Came back to the line to Keane. Keane, Dion almost was cutting to the net. Good defensive play by Bollock that time. Haller rubbed up by Flatley. Coming with Muller. Patrick Flatley drops it for Bollock. Bollock to the middle. On the backhand. Takes the forehand shot. Wow, the save. Mullen couldn't get the rebound shot off. DiPietro cleared it up for Dion. And Dion gets it out of the zone.
Still hard for the Islanders to outnumber the Canadiens in front of their net. I mean, a replay of that would show you 3 Canadiens and 2 Islanders in front. The Montreal Canadiens seem to be so good getting back in quickly to help Patrick Roy. When there are rebounds, it's a job to get to them.
Always a red jersey. In front, Turgeon misses the net. And as we mentioned, he went high. Didn't get it on goal. Near side, Tommy Curvers had snuck up. He couldn't get the shot off, though. Along the boards, held in. Good work. Bollock backs it up to Turgeon. Hope checked away Desjardins to center. Islanders have had great chances here. They've gotten the puck down low, but the last one, a couple, in fact, have not been on net when they've had shots from point-blank range. Thomas got dumped at center, and the New York Islanders get a power play when we come back.
Introducing the exciting new Subaru Impreza Sport Wagon. All 110 cubic feet of it. That's like the size of 4 sleeping bags, luggage, a 20-pound sack of potatoes, 3 bags of groceries, a portable barbecue, and a family of 4. Hey, everybody needs their own space. The new roomy Impreza Sport Wagon from Subaru. It's not just another new car.
To the Canadiens' power play. They really only had one good scoring chance. It went Donfus to Bellows, and here's his favorite play when he's stationed at the side of the net, that wide wrap that Healy took away from him with a poke check. And then Pierre Turgeon had a chance at the other end that went over the net.
Power play now with 1:53 to go in the first period for the Islanders. Hooking call at 18:02. Leclerc's out, and the Islanders have the advantage in this scoreless game now. Islanders are 1 for 11 in this series against Montreal. Canadiens control at center. Benoit Brunet. Brunet wanted to rag that a little bit. Got tied up by Thomas. Malakoff picks it up. Islander power play. 1:34 left in the first period. Longer than that remaining on the power play by a few seconds. Malakoff brings it in and way offside. Not even close. Derek King on the right was in about 5 steps ahead of Malakoff.
Well, Pierre Turgeon in this hockey game has already played on 2 different lines. Al Arbour is going to use almost 4 lines. Here's Turgeon's chance, almost open until J.J. Daigneault got there. You know, you saw him take the puck on his backhand and have to transition. Not that difficult to play, but it's time-consuming. Time-consuming can involve a half a second. A half a second is all you need. When you get that half second taken away from you, it's a long time. I mean, people talk about football as being a game of inches. Hockey is a game of less than seconds. 1 second is a long time on the ice.
A long time.
Yep.
Yeah. You get a second to line it up, when especially shooting. You're in great shape. King cleared it in. Turgeon forced the play behind the net. What a presence on the ice he has been in the 2 games that he has played out of the 3. Thomas, that hit him in the face. He's all right. And Schneider's able to clear it out. A minute left to go in the period. 1:02 left on the power play for the Islanders. Mike Keane up with the forecheck. Tom Gerber's forced behind the net. Good play by Keane. Coop moved over to get it. Ray Ferraro starts it up ice. Ferraro's picked up 4 power play goals in the playoffs. Ferraro tied up by Desjardins. Lost it to Thomas. We're in the final minute of this period. Back to the point. Coop shot blocked up deep. And Desjardins looking to clear. Mike Keane batted it down and cleared out of the zone by Guy Carbonneau. For Guy Carbonneau, 147 playoff games now. Tonight he's tied 5th all-time for the Montreal Canadiens with Yvon Convoyer. Ray Ferraro on the power play. Islanders changing it up. Didn't have a point man. Ferraro with 13 seconds left to go in the period.
You know, that was a good chance for the Canadiens to really rush Ferraro.
Pilon, Bollock tipped it in while the save, and Guy Carbonneau clears.
You bring up a good point. You've got to read that if you're a penalty killer. If the Islanders are slow in a change and they don't have their 5th man in the zone, forget about staying in a box. Go to the man-to-man coverage. The Canadiens didn't read it.
You're off and flying if you didn't pick that one up. First period is over here. Shots 9-6 in favor of the Islanders, and 2 seconds left on the power play for the Canadiens to start the second period. A defensive first period at the end of 1. Montreal and the New York Islanders zip. John?
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. Scoreless game after 1 period. The Islanders in need of the victory. They can't afford to go down 3-0, especially right now at home. We'll be back with more National Hockey Night in just a moment. Jim Schoenfeld takes a look back at the first period, and we'll look back at last night. The Los Angeles Kings come from behind victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. So stay right here. We are scoreless. Patrick Waugh, one of the reasons, the big save on the boomer from the point here.
Gillette introduces the best shaving gel ever. New Gillette Gel. Advanced lubricants. Easier razor glide. An incredibly smooth shave. Now, the best gel is Gillette Gel.
I want to talk to you about my new Subaru Impreza and explain its relevance to you and me and the car business, okay? Okay. This car is like punk rock. Now, just trust me, this is relevant. Do you remember when rock and roll was really boring and corporate? Well, punk challenged all this and said, hey, excuse me, but here's what's cool about music, remember? Now, Subaru, with this Impreza, is challenging some car thinking here. This car is all about reminding you and me what's great about a car and moving forward and making cars better and less disappointing. Just like punk, except it's cars. Well, I just thought of another analogy.
Performax from Pennzoil. New synthetic motor oil with Pennzoil's exclusive star molecule. Protects engine parts at ignition. Works like liquid ball bearings. Hangs tough during the most extreme driving conditions. Flows in severe cold. Performax from Pennzoil. Keeps it cool in extreme heat. Performax from Pennzoil. Fights against failure at friction max out. Performax. Protects to the max.
What's my day like? The sun comes up and my calls start coming. You want help calling overseas? I'm right here. Your kid needs to call you collect from camp. You need someone who speaks your language? I can help. Now, if you want to trade casserole recipes, my husband is the cook. By sundown, I've helped some people out. And if I'm lucky, there's a casserole waiting on the table.
The iPlan with a smile. AT&T operators.
Some things were meant to fade, and some things weren't. Like Dutch Boy's satin finish house paint. Nothing resists cracking, peeling, and fading better. Nothing. Dutch Boy, for the look that lasts.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor, the closest, safest, the best shave a man can get.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Welcome back to the Wales Conference Final. 2-0. Montreal leads the series. Right now it's scoreless after one period. John Saunders along with Jim Schoenfeld. And there's been a lot of talk about Pierre Turgeon. He missed almost the entire series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Back for this series, playing well. And guys coming back from injury, nothing new for the Islanders tonight.
Yeah, it's always a big boost to your team when you have a guy come back from an injury and play well. And in tonight's game, number 18 for the Islanders, Marty McGuinness, is having a real strong first period. Now, you expect Marty to be a guy that throws a weight around. But tonight, he's created a lot of scoring chances for the Islanders. You'll see in the rush here, the puck is going to be dumped out. He jumps up, makes a good play. He's going to go glove the stick. And watch a nice little drop pass, Steve Thomas. McGuinness goes to the front of the net, mucking, and there's the backhander. 2 scoring chances there. Thomas Kasparidis on a good play by Marty McGuinness. Breaking up now, he's leading a rush. Through the neutral zone, up to the blue line. He's going to go wide, gets a shot. Waugh can't handle it, but watch what happens from here. Thomas is going to get the puck. And here's another real good scoring chance by Hogue as McGuinness is in front of the net. So an infusion of enthusiasm for sure Marty McGuinness brings that. He's going to make some good physical hits. That's his game. And tonight he's had a real good, solid start as an offensive threat. So I would look for Marty the next 2 periods to have a real solid game for the Islanders.
Yeah, down 2-0. You're looking for that little spark, something to get you going. Of course, Pierre Turgeon, we mentioned him. He missed just about the entire series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Came back for game number 7. Missed game number 1 against the Montreal Canadiens. Was back for game 2. And Jacques Demers says he surprised them.
I think he took us by surprise. I don't think we thought that he'd come in and play that well and possibly play in the power play. You know, when you talk about a third-degree shoulder separation, you're talking about 2 months and a half. And to come back and play that way, he was well prepared, and Hal used him right, and he could have cost us. He could have beat us, actually.
He almost did beat them. He had a big goal in that game, played very well. Actually played physical as well. And what about tonight?
Well, Turgeon's greatest abilities are the ability to get open. When he's open, he's very dangerous, or to find guys that are open and give them the puck. He's done that extremely well tonight, and he's had a couple of good chances by himself. First shift, right through the middle. He's going to come in one-on-one against Waugh. He doesn't get the good wood on the shot he would like, but still a good chance by Turgeon. He's going to pay the price later on. There's Matthew Schneider. He knows how dangerous Turgeon is. And anytime his head's down, you're going to hit him there. Daniel just gets the stick on to prevent another good scoring chance. But Turgeon doing what you expect him to do. He's finding the openings. He hasn't made the great passes yet tonight. But we can expect that because there are 40 minutes of hockey left, and Turgeon will play it extremely well.
Probably the only time he'd be thankful for a hit, because it tells him his shoulder can take something and, maybe lets him relax a little bit. All right, let's go back in our record books. 18 years ago tonight, we'll start off taking a look at a couple of broadcasting legends, Jim Schoenfeld and Bill Clement, as the Buffalo Sabres took on the Philadelphia Flyers. Game 3 of that final. And there was fog everywhere, Shoney. You remember this. Needless to say, the biggest problem fell into the laps of the goaltenders. They couldn't see anything. Down 2-0. The Sabres were able to get back in the series. Late in the first OT, Rene Robert, the shot that Bernie Parent never saw. Shoney and the Sabres celebrated.
And you know, I've been in a fog ever since, John.
He's got a 5-iron. No, it's the Grumman Edge from Black & Decker. He clears the rough, now with a twist. He edges the bunker. Oh, what a shot. He grooms. He edges. The Black & Decker Grumman Edge, the trimmer, with a competitive edge.
La la la, la la la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Why is it always the same old story? Why? Ask why. Try a less filling beer with a lot more taste. Bud Dry. When it comes to a great beer, we wrote the book.
When life turns up the heat.
They start the wedding without me?
This shouldn't take long, honey.
Nothing protects you like Degree antiperspirant. It's body heat activated to release extra protection. Degree, your body heat turns it on.
You know, in the 2 years I was away from baseball, I really missed the game. But the thing I missed most was going head-to-head with those Boston Red Sox.
The Yankees face the Red Sox live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Welcome back once again to the Wales Conference Final. We'll get to the second period in just a moment. But first, let's take a look back at the Campbell Conference Final. That was all tied up 1 apiece thanks to the Los Angeles Kings' big win last night at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Doug Gilmour and Marty McSorley back in action. Remember, in Game 1, they were pounding each other. Gilmour against the Leafs going on the power play. Nice give and go with Borshevsky. 1-0 Toronto. 31 seconds later, Mike Donnelly jumps on the rebound of Charlie Huddy's shot, beating Potvin 1-1. Just a minute plus after that, Wendell Clark and the Leafs go back to work, finds Glenn Anderson alone, his 85th of his career. Toronto's back in front late in the first period. Things get ugly. Gilmour takes exception to McSorley. Watch this, the headbutt to the face. Just 2 minutes for roughing, though, for each player. Second period, Kings on the power play. Corey Millen feeds Tony Granato. 2-2, it's tied. In the third period, Wayne Gretzky finally gets on track, finding Tomas Sandstrom with the shot there, his 7th. Kings leading at 3-2. The final seconds of the third period, the Leafs start to pour it on. Gilmour behind the net, comes around this side, can't wrap it around, and the Kings win it 3-2 as the final. They escape Toronto with the split. The Maple Leafs trying to figure out what happened as they head back to Los Angeles, tied at 1 apiece.
I mean, say there was a lot of penalties called, and we killed a lot of penalties, and it was hardly any flow. And we all seemed to sit back and wait for the Doug Gilmour show to happen, and just too many guys riding the bus tonight.
They're riding the bus in the third period, almost the opposite of what happened in game number 1. Toronto out shooting LA 22-1 in game number 1. LA out shooting Toronto 10-6 in game 2. And each team being shut out in the third period, and the team being shut out was the team that lost. Quite a turnaround.
Well, the difference in Game 2 from Game 1 from a Leafs point of view is in Game 1, they had a lead and they continued to attack. In Game 2, they laid back and they went definitely with a checking line. Peter Zezel, Mark Osborne, and Bill Berg were used to shut the Kings down with a 2-1 lead. Now, the different strategy in Game 1 was a line of Mike Foligno, Mike Krushelinski, and different wingers. Glenn Anderson, they had John Cullen on the line sometimes. But when this line was on, they created a lot of good offensive chances. They had the Kings hemmed in their zone all the time, and so the offensive flow of the Leafs was able to continue, and they're not going to hurt you defensively. So I really wondered in that game why we didn't see more Krushelinski, more Foligno, and I think had they played more, the Leafs would have been able to add to their lead rather than sit on and try to...
You know, the first period, the Islanders carried the play, but same story as Montreal, Gary. They really dominated the first period. They came out strong, didn't have anything to show for it. Then the Montreal Canadiens really dominated the second period, so we'll see if this game takes on the same shape.
Second period has been a very tough period throughout the year for the New York Islanders. It's been the one where they've been outscored and outplayed during the regular season. See whether or not that continues here in the playoffs. It's so tough. The Montreal Canadiens have given up 3 goals or more just twice in their past 14 postseason games. That's why Waugh right now is #1 in goals against coming into this game for playoff goaltenders and going after his 62nd playoff win.
Now, Gary, you notice the thing hanging from Patrick Waugh's mask that protects his neck. I mean, he's really got good protection. Not only does his mask come down low, but he's got that dewlap hanging down as well. At the other end, Glenn Healy has nothing. If he gets a high riser, come up quickly, he's wide open. Now, there are a lot of goaltenders that don't have that dewlap hanger that Patrick Waugh has, but they at least have some kind of neck choker, almost like a turtleneck with a pad in it. Healy just solos.
Can't believe he plays without that.
I can't either.
So dangerous. So many shots we see going up on goaltenders.
Kenny Reggett's the same way with the Penguins, and neither wears really a chin strap. You'll see Healy during the game just pop his helmet up onto the top of his head and take a drink of water.
Power plays over. Only 2 seconds left on it for the Islanders, so each team 0 for 1. John LeClair just came out of the penalty box. There he is in the corner. Kasparaitis with the puck, clears it out to center. And we are underway here in the second period. This will be an icing call. Matthew Snyder going back to get it. Second period underway on the island. Home ice advantage this season for the New York Islanders during the regular season. They were 20-19-3. Did score 175 goals here on home ice. Fitzy is getting a lot of ice time here in the playoffs. Tom Fitzgerald has played very well for this team, not only during the season, but here in the playoffs. He's picked up a couple of goals, 4 assists plus 1 coming into tonight's game, and those short-handed goals, of course, enormous for them during the playoffs to move them on.
Yeah, he's really come into his own, and Al Arbour needs his defensive presence out there against certain lines, and this is one of them, the Bellows-Muller unit.
Fitzgerald out of Providence College, cleared up along the boards. Islanders trying to get it out of the zone. Bellows was there to try and pin it in. Fitzgerald got the stick on it and get it out. Shot right back in by Matthew Snyder. Healy holds it up behind the net. Rich Pilon. Both teams making quick changes here at the start of this second period. Pilon up with Kasparaitis. Fitzgerald aligned with Mullen and Claude Loisel for the Islanders. At center, Canadians collide. Bellows went down with LeClair. Mullen brings it back in, and Bellows is going slowly to the other side. Ryan Bellows really felt that hit. He and John LeClair collided. Bellows goes to the bench. Mullen brings it in. Mullen to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald saved by Waugh. And that whole break was created by Bellows having to go to the bench after that collision with his own teammate.
I don't think it would have been created if Brian Bellows hadn't delayed. He made a token attempt to try and get the puck away from the Islander who had it over in front of the Islanders bench, and then he decided to go out. If he goes direct to the bench, they get the man off.
Well, they got the odd man rush. The Islanders did on that. They're out to center ice. Baskey spanned on it. Turgeon comes back to get it. If there's anything wrong with Turgeon's shoulder now, we sure aren't seeing it. He's played the body in this game himself. Delgarno. Turgeon cutting. Turgeon scores!
What a play by Brad Delgarno. And what focus by Pierre Turgeon. Here's Delgarno. He knows he's coming. And Kevin Haller, I think, thought that he had Turgeon taken care of. But unless you've got a stick tied up, you don't have him. Pierre Turgeon focused on that pass all the way right through Kevin Haller's skates and just drilled a low shot under Patrick Waugh. And Pierre Turgeon has to produce for the Islanders to get back into this series. He understands that, and he is a different athlete this year. He is willing to accept the responsibility, and he's accepted it here tonight so far.
First goal of the game, and Pierre Turgeon. Jacques Lemaire said the other day after seeing Turgeon play in Game 2, this is a different Islander team when he's out there, and they're a good team without him. And he was absolutely right. Turgeon gets the goal. He's now 2-1 in this series, playing in just 2 games, 2 goals and an assist, and gives the Islanders the lead. Mullen dropped it, shot, Malakoff deflected into the corner. Turgeon's goal coming at 1:36 of the second. His 6th of this playoff season. Delgado and Pollock had the assist. It is his 18th career playoff goal. In the middle, Brunet. Benoit Brunet dropped it. Ray Krug tried to clear. Intercepted. Brunet again. Finally, Kerber's got it out of the zone. Steve Thomas at center. Thomas, Hogue, and McGinnis on the line. They'll head to the bench as the Islanders will change it up. Near side for Brunet. And Brunet will dump it in. 1-0. Islanders on top, trailing in the series 2 games to none.
Gary, Jacques Demers doesn't appear to be making any attempt to get Guy Carbonneau out there against Pierre Turgeon. Now, Turgeon is playing with Brad Delgarno and David Pollock. Turgeon is the one guy they got to stop in the line. It's not necessarily Pollock and Delgarno. But what Al Arbour has done by keeping Turgeon away from his regular season wingers is he's really balanced his offensive attack, and it's harder to stop the entire team because he's spread them out a little bit.
And Demir's harder to match. When he doesn't have that last change, it's tough anyway, but especially tough when you don't know when he's going to be out there. King! Wow, had to block that one. Derek King ran it in. Ferraro tried to hold it in, could not. Dion's got it. Gilbert Dion brings it to center. 3-on-3 break. Near side, Balanger was offside. Islanders up 1-0.
Reincarnation. The belief you can come back is just about anything. Why do some guys have all the luck? Try a less filling beer with a lot more taste. Bud Dry. Because while luck may run out,
Happy birthday, Grandma.
For me?
true refreshment won't.
This Dodge Shadow costs under 10 grand, which is pretty remarkable when you consider it has things like an automatic transmission, air, a stereo, power steering and brakes, and a whole lot more. But what's really surprising about Shadow is that we've managed to keep it priced that low, even allowing for inflation.